There we go. Hey, it's Dr. Fred here with Elite Coaching, and I'm with my good friend, truly brother from another mother. I think we share the same genes. We're probably close to,
very close.
The same area in Italy.
Very close.
Might be. But, hey, we're here because we're giving our annual seminar October 19, 20. And we are blessed again because you speak at this seminar every year. I think this is either your fourth year.
Yeah.
Something like
Thank
that.
You. I am blessed. Thank you.
But hey, I'm really fired up about this theme, and you guys have seen this on Facebook and the other video interviews we've put out, that the theme is become unstoppable. Now, before I direct this to you, Joe, why did we do this, man? And you know it better than anyone. It's always mindset first. You know, we say in Elite, you want to take your practice, your life to another level. It's mindset and then systems. And becoming unstoppable, this isn't even going to be a chiropractic seminar. This is going to be a massive transformation in mindset because we have leaders like you. We have Chris Zano, Neil Cohen, Aram Tahir. Let me think about this. Roberto Monaco. Who else am I forgetting? We got. I know there's a list of 8 people. Oh, Dan Pompa. We have Dan coming. You have all the dudes that end in a vowel. Be there. But it's truly going to be a transformation. And you're always the anchor man Saturday night and bringing the heat and true, genuine, pure principle, philosophy, all heart and spirit every time.
Well, thank you, Fred. It's great to be there. I hope my invitation stays open. I always love coming out to Chicago and staying with you and hanging with you guys and breaking bread with last year was great. Everybody's invited to go to that, as you're so generous about that, and it was great. We had a great. I mean, we still talk about it. So I'm looking more forward to this year now. I'm all fired up. So
yeah, and I want to go over the one-liner on the ride home. Hey, if you got a chicken bone in your neck, are you going to take an Advil?
You want the Heimlich?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was good.
That was a Borio one-liner.
That was an adjustment. That was the obstruction. You're out of alignment. You want an Advil or you want an adjustment? Well, let me give you an example. If you got a piece of chicken stuck in your throat, you want an Advil or you want the Heimlich? So you want something to push on it, you want to peel it away. That was funny. That was in the Escalade on the way back from the dinner.
Yeah, it was.
That was fun. That was a good night.
Cool. So, hey, I mean, you're always invited on Elite Stage, and we got a bunch of guys that are online with your Chiro Passion and your Facebook group, and truly, man, you are a leader that represents becoming unstoppable. So, why don't you give us a little preview of that mindset? What you're going to talk about?
So here's one that I use a lot when I speak. Albert Hubbard, as some guys know, was good friends with B.J. Palmer. And so I started reading some Albert Hubbard because, I always like to look behind why certain people are successful, because I want to capture into that. I want to channel into some of that level of success. So I started reading Albert Hubbard's scrapbook. So Albert Hubbard was good friends. They did Free Thinkers Group out in East Aurora, New York, and a great group of people. So I bought all of Albert Hubbard's books that I could buy on eBay. And I'm like, well, I want to read The Study Died in Lusitania, May 1915. So I wanted to read all this stuff because I understand that BJ was influenced on how he dressed, the epigrams, a lot of how he speaks was greatly influenced by Albert Hubbard. So I'm reading the scrapbook, and the scrapbook is Albert Hubbard, and he would write down the words of anyone that he found inspirational to make a difference in the world. And one of these big themes that he had was Alexander the Great. So I started reading about Alexander the Great. So once I got into reading about Alexander the Great through the scrapbook, I started reading about all stuff. I started getting all the stuff online, and I got a couple of books on Alexander the Great. Some guys that wrote biographies of him. And I'm thinking, wow, this guy's 33 years old when he dies. And at 31 and a half, he is basically a general from, not that anyone should be surprised, Italian, but he conquers the free world, conquers the known world, conquers 31. Okay. And I'm learning about him, and I'm like 40. I'm like, okay, number one, I'm a loser. I suck, right? This guy's conquered the world. And then you're like, well, how does he conquer the world? How does he take legions of men to Persia? Like, because he conquered everything in Europe, he conquers everything in Northern Africa. So now he's like, okay, I got to go further. So think about going from Rome, Italy to Persia. Like, no Humvee, no roads, no Apache helicopter. How do you take legions of men just to walk across a certain kind of ground that's treacherous that you could die? Think of the men are just dying. So then I read about him, and I read about how he would take over a village and he would offer his doctors, his food, his water to those that are defeated and ask them to join. I read about him, how he would teach and educate the men to read and to write. And I read about him and how he would share, and that was really the kicker for me, how he would share his vision. He had a vision of what he wanted to create, I'm sure from his, leader, his emperor, what have you. But that's what he did. He shared this vision that he wanted to create in the world, that he always felt Rome would offer education and health, and he felt Rome would offer leadership, and that Rome was the key to abundance. And he felt as though that if he could take what he viewed as other cultures that were not as privileged or lived in abundance, if he could bring them under Roman rule, that they would actually share it, unfortunately by force in many cases, that he would bring them under that rule to, in a sense, he was trying to bring a better life, even though we may look at it through today's standards and say, it was butchery. It really wasn't. He was bringing them a better life, and that was his vision, that he wanted the world to be a better place to live, to bring people a better life. And that's how he would get hundreds of thousands of men in order to take wheeled wagons and horses and camels to defy their life to go to Persia. And then you read about a guy like Jesus who only had 12 disciples, and they followed a vision. And then you read people like Gandhi, right? And people would follow a vision, and millions of people without Facebook, without social media, would gather just to hear a story, a vision. And that, to me, when you talk about being unstoppable, to me, that's what creates unstoppable, creating a vision, something far greater than yourself, something that lives on beyond you, that's eternal, that's infinite, and that you would connect what you do as an instrument, a tool, a vessel, in order to be congruent with that vision. And to me, chiropractic, much like Alexander the Great, if you're under care, you're going to live a better, longer life. It's a way to bring connection between universe or God to body. It allows people to live congruently and innately with the way we were meant to. B.J. Palmer said it would increase the evolution of human consciousness, not get rid of somebody's frickin' sciatica. It was about developing their consciousness to how man should live. Like Didi talked, the unital with the universe being connected to man and matter. And, so when I think about chiropractic, you think about the adjustment. To me, if you connect it to something that you believe in, that is congruent with what your beliefs and values are, that makes you unstoppable. So now you're not thinking about, hey, geez, does Fred like me? Does Fred not like me? Is he going to, am I going to be hurt if he doesn't follow my care plan? Is he going to be upset that I use certain words through my doctor talk or doctor report or whatever? Like you're just sharing and testifying what it is you do, why you do it, and why it's important for them to be part of that. And by doing that with a certain level of conviction that you've anchored to your belief and value system, what it does is it gives you a greater degree of influence. More people follow you. That's how you grow the practice. And people stay in care because of that vision, because it's good for them, not because it's going to get rid of their freaking sciatica. So to me, that's what Unstoppable is about.
Boom.
Boom.
Dude, what do we say after that? You said so many things, man, that, as you're saying, I'm like, and this, and this, and this, and this. And really, to summarize that, which was absolutely freaking brilliant, that is, a leader is a visionary. Like you look at Alexander the Great, it's a culture.
Right.
It's Jesus, Christianity. That's culture. And a culture is an organization of people that is inspired by purpose and beliefs. And so what you're talking about is is to put that in another way is you have a vision that's bigger than you are. Now we know that. What's bigger than you are mean? Exactly what you said. I'm not worried if I'm liked. I'm not worried if they care about the recommendations. Yeah, the financial's freaking uncomfortable, but how many times have you bought things you could barely afford and you cherished them the most? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah, you're not going to like the financial. Yeah, you're not going to like the recommendations. I want to know if you have a great life. And a great leader like Alexander the Great, like what you said, he had a compelling vision that he could articulate and communicate in a way that inspired people to want to change the way they live their life. That's exactly it. And they would go on the road with him and go from friggin' Italy to Persia because they were compelled by, he was able to take his vision and put it into the physiology, emotionally engage people until they felt that vision in their body, and then they were willing to change the way they live. That's chiropractic.
That is.
Now, when you do it, like what you said, and this is how you are so exemplary of this, that you have no focus. I mean, when you're communicating chiropractic, man, to say that you have no focus on yourself is giving yourself too much credit. Like saying that there's none, even to have to say it is inaccurate because you love and care for people. And then you look at your example of Alexander the Great. Like what he did was, hey, he would feed defeated people. Like then you contribute to your culture.
Exactly.
He brought a vision and he brought love.
Yep.
That's chiropractic.
Yep. So it's funny. It's funny. I didn't mean to talk over you. It's funny when you read, he became so revered that many of his villages that he would go in, he never had a battle. They would literally, surrender themselves to his rule because they would talk to other villages, not because he would, murder and pillage, but because they were like, wow, this guy's bringing in something that made our life better. He brought in that idea, in your words, the culture of Roman culture, which again was what? Education and food and healthcare and the things that we want even today. Somebody to take care of us, but a better way to live, abundance, and that's what I think chiropractic does. That not only in the, I think sometimes we get lost in the adjustment, which is great, but get lost in the philosophy of it and get lost in the enormity of it. That when you adjust somebody and they understand what you're doing, like it's not just, oh, my back doesn't hurt. It's like, wow, you have more life going from your brain to your tissue, to your organ. That organ is going to have a higher level of organization now, that you are going to be more organized because your nervous system can communicate to your body. So aren't you a better father? Aren't you a better mother? Aren't you a better child? Aren't you better in consciousness? Aren't you better in imagination, creativity? Aren't you better in communication? Aren't you better in every way if you're better connected? I mean, who would say no to that? So that's what you're able to do. I think a lot of times chiropractors get lost in, to say that that's all there is. No, of course you need exercise and you need nutrition. Those are critical. I'm not denying that at all. But you're the only one. If you want to do those other things, great. But you're the only one that does the adjustment and understands the power of the adjustment and the philosophy and connecting people. You're the only one. So if you're only doing something else and not chiropractic, they're not getting connected. They're not going to be a better person. Will they be better if they eat better and exercise? Yeah, but they're not going to be what they should be, what the universe had them tended to be, if they're not getting adjusted. So that's where I think if you understand that to a certain degree, drink that Kool-Aid, that is the vision. That is, like you said, changes the physiology, changes my heart, makes me want to be a better person, wants me to be a better chiropractor, wants me to be a better contributor to society, wants me to leave the world a better place. And the vehicle and instrument in which I can do that as a chiropractor. I'm doing the adjustment to as many people as I can. So
well, and that's such a good point, man, because we hear this in coaching, because you and I teach such a strong philosophy because of the principle is truth. In fact, it's a universal law. Life force to a physical body brings health and life, and you block that life force brings disease and death. And so we talk about, we teach to talk about organ problems and health problems. And then you run into people who say, well, subluxation isn't the only cause of disease. That's what you say. Well, of course it's not. Otherwise, you have a subluxated person exercising. You have a subluxated person with a great diet.
Right.
You have a subluxated person doing fucking yoga.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you have an unsubluxated person doing yoga, an unsubluxated person with a good diet, and an unsubluxated person exercising.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like you said, that's your job. Make them unsubluxated and then do all the rest.
Yeah. Here's a great, I'll read this really quick. I'm not known to do this often, but this is something that's on my desktop. And I was talking about becoming unstoppable, and this is BJ Palmer. A human being, in his words, human being is part of the entire sum of everything called by us universe. This is part in limited time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts, his feelings as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for very few people nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion, to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. And that's what BJ called a primordial subluxation. The subluxation not of the spine, but of the mind that separates us. And if you can understand that the adjustment connects to that, but in your mind, then work as a chiropractor makes so much more sense, and you're able to help so many more people. So,
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, that's just a preview. I mean, shoot, Joe, whenever we get on, we can go and go,
right?
Go and go, which is awesome. So, but
hey,
you just got a little snippet of Dr. Joe Borio, the Godfather, going to be there October. You're speaking October 20th. It's in Chicago. Go to elitecoachingllc.com, click under events, look at the annual seminar, and get registered, man, because I guarantee you this will be a transformation. Again, you can go to any chiropractic seminar and learn systems. This is not systems. Yeah. This is going to be mindset that's going to fuel your systems. Mindset and purpose is the fuel of your systems. I mean, everybody knows you can run systems, but without purpose and conviction as the fuel, they're just steps. But when you enlighten them, man, and empower them with purpose and conviction, now you make an impact.
Yes.
So that's what it's all about, man.
Huge impact. Absolutely.
All right, brother. Well,
awesome.
Look forward to seeing you in October. Again, thank you for joining us. Italian Food Saturday night.
Carmine's, make sure you reserve the table, back corner left.
Yeah, there we go. We got it.
So just so you know, seating, it's Fred, I'm across from you, Roberto to my left, and Dan to the front left. That forward is important. Everyone else is important, but our four core is very important. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and Zeno will be at my left. It's all good. Hey, we got Cohen. He's a Jewish guy. We can let him in there too.
One of the nicest guys.
Oh yeah. People. Yeah, totally amazing. Exactly.
I tell him every time I see him, I'm like, you are one of the best people I ever met.
Yeah, he just exudes love. He's going to be there too.
He's just great.
All right, man. See you.
All right, brother. Talk to you.
All right, peace.